Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
A text going around on social media that speaks to the sparsity of blood available through the Barbados Blood Bank. We want to be able to share the truth of that with you now. Joining me to talk more about this and to respond is Dr. the Most Honorable Corey Forde. He is the Director of Clinical and Diagnostic Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Dr. Forde, good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
First time I'm interviewing with you, sir.
Yes, yes. And so let's talk a little bit about this note that's going around and what's the truth to it.
Yeah, well, I'll just get straight to the point. I'm just very direct. And I always believe, I'll tell you personally, one of the things I believe, anytime there's a criticism, deal with it, handle it. Don't hide anything, or you just come out and be honest, certainly with the public. And for this particular case, I just want to take a quick second to walk through so the public understands how blood works. So I'm not really responsible for blood bank, but I'm responsible for blood collecting. So that's where everything starts, and I think the public needs to understand. So you go, you donate blood, for example. I know some Barbadians some things go out on social media, say, go and donate enough blood. But I want to caution people about how they do things, because it's important. When you donate blood, it's not there forever. It has a lifespan of 35 days. So if the person is going to need blood over a period of time, you have to be quite clever in how you get people to come in, right? It's a bank. So, you know, if you put money in an ATM and you go back to take it out, you're not getting back the same $100 that you put in, but it's still $100 nevertheless. And then the next part of that is a whole process when you donate blood. So you donate blood, the blood gets tested, right? And that after that gets tested, something else happens, which is called cross-matching. So you go to look to make sure that blood is going to be compatible with the blood that you're putting into that person. I think you need to start there to understand, you know, how things work. So we said it's a bank, and if you take a loan from a bank, then it has to be repaid back in. So I said all of that to come to this particular point. So at their points during it, I remember I would say, this reminds me of COVID, for example, when I come here and say, oh, there are 15 patients, and then by the time I go through the door, there are 40.
Yes.
So it's a moving instrument. But what I would say is at this point, certainly within our blood bank, we are above our minimum level. And it's a change in this. So we give blood to people for various situations. And then there are times where there may be an accident, or somebody might come in and have a liver laceration, or somebody may be bleeding, and then it consumes a lot. But then the blood moves through a process. So there's untested blood, and that untested blood then moves into tested blood, and then stocked once it's cross-matched for use. So I think people need to get a feel, understand that process. And I think there was something going about. I didn't really read it in detail, to be honest. It was just to be straightforward and say exactly what happened. So there was something about the unavailability of serology testing. What does that mean to every Barbadian? I'd look at you straight and tell you. In short, any blood sample, any blood that comes in that is donated, one of the things that goes through is a process of testing. So the test for HIV, the test for syphilis, the test for hepatitis B. You don't want to transfuse that to anybody. And you test for HTLV1, which is a very rare virus. Not very common here in Barbados, more common in Jamaica and Japan and some of these other areas, right? I can speak on that, this infectious disease doctor. And the only challenge that there was our external partners, because we're doing lab remediation, signaled to us that they were going low on the HTLV kits, which is very rare in Barbados in any case. That does not mean you ran out. It means you're going low. But we were able to test for all the other serology tests. And I would tell the Barbadians this morning that there was never a break in that, because the kits of this HTLV1 virus are actually available to Barbados reference labs today, so they will continue to test it today. So there was never a breakage, certainly in that serology testing. So I'm not sure where that's from. And then there's this whole idea of something called platelets. I don't know if you know what they are, but platelets are those cells in your body. When you get cut, they kind of bond together and stop you from bleeding.
Yes.
Those are also collected, but those are not collected and stored almost like blood. Those are almost collected for most part, on you. So we're still able to do that. You know, and this shelf life is like 5 days, so you're not going to be collecting a whole set of them to waste. But I want to take the opportunity here, yes, to encourage Barbadians to donate blood. And I have been here in December. There are times where the bank will fall, and when the bank fall, we come out and call. I've been here in December. I've been here. I saw you around, but you were on with me at that time. And I think that was in March again to really ask Barbados to come out to donate blood. But again, we need to do it in a really systematic way. Understanding the shelf life is 35, and there are some people who will need to get it early in terms of at the early part of the donation, and there's some people who could get that blood later, like kids, and some of the people with some of the hemoglobinopathies, for example, they will need to get fresher blood. So it's a process. So I just want to dispel what's been going on. There are times, like I said, always be honest, right, where there will be a drop, but there's a surveillance process for that. So once it drops or gets even in a certain range of minimal balance, a flag goes out, which leads to a whole trigger of activities, which sometimes ends up with some of us being here. So I want to tell Barbados, I know what experiences people had, and I would always say that when people highlight things, it comes from, not always, people say it's they're being bad or wicked. They highlight it because of concern.
They have a concern.
And that's fine, right? And I don't think people do things because they're being malicious. I think they sometimes do it because they're concerned about something. And that's fine. And it's our job to come out and educate people, dispel any fears that people will have. And we're Barbadians. And I want to take, I spoke a lot, Pearson, to give you a chance to talk. But I'm very passionate about what I do. I know that I'm not responsible for this. I just really have to say this. And I think the things that we do sometimes, we do not understand. Again, get a little bit philosophical, right? But sometimes when we do things, we do not understand the impact it has on other people, including the employees. And I can tell you, and I speak this morning from my heart, from my staff. And last night I left hospital close to 9, 10 o'clock. And I was walking through there. I said no, and I turned around, because it's my personality, and I went to where they were because I knew what happened. And I went to thank them and say, I thank you for your efforts. I know it's tough. I know you're going through a cleaning of the lab and things are not, not in a perfect place, but I want you to think towards the future. You're going to the land of Canaan, right? So just, I want to take the opportunity as well to encourage them. I know it's been difficult for them, and when these sort of things happen, it's kind of discouraging for them. I think people don't think about that as well, but I want to take the opportunity to encourage them along, and we'll keep the fight going for every single Barbadian. And I know that every single Barbadian there who's listening today, you can call the blood bank and find out, can I donate blood? When I can donate, when I can come. Don't all rush to go down. I explain. It was very important for me to explain why not to do that. Because if you have somebody in there and they need blood, and you send 50 people and they need blood 2 months later, and you can't donate 2 to 3 months later, you just lost a whole cohort of people. Thank you.
And I appreciate the fact that you took the time to explain how it works.
Yeah.
Yours is a legacy institution providing service to Barbados, just like ours. So I know how people sometimes have perspectives based upon those legacy institutions. But just to reassure everyone that there is no challenge at the Barbados Blood Bank at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Blood is available. There's no shortage of blood. The reagents that they were talking about are on island. And so we want people to be assured that...
we made a special effort, Pearson. I know there was also something about nothing has been done. I really have to stick a pin in that. I know you have to go. I have to stick a pin in that one, because we work with our external providers. The minute they told us that, and we were able to get a diversion of kits to Barbados, and we work with our partners in St. Vincent to even get some of these to come over. They're arriving on Monday as well. And I will tell you, if you know me well, for during COVID, there's always a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, a plan E, a plan F.
The whole alphabet.
The whole alphabet. There must always be a plan to service the Barbadian public. And these are difficult times. I understand, this brings anxiety. I'm here to quell some of that anxiety, but to also encourage you to continue to support us in the medical system. Thank you.
Well said. Dr. the Most Honorable Corey Forde, just dispelling and clarifying and perhaps setting straight the record as it relates to that viral stuff that's been going around, and assuring all of us that there is sufficient stock of blood in the Barbados Blood Bank. Those concerns that were raised were merely temporary. They are now resolved. And so we want to rest assured that your loved ones will be serviced if the need arises. Thank you so much, Dr. Forde.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Morning, morning.